Hey guys! So guys, in today's video it's a bit of a hard subject actually to tackle, and it's about diagnosis of autism. So not the actual process, but if you are somebody who has recently been diagnosed, just some tips and advice, but also for parents whose children have just been diagnosed with autism, some tips and advice. You know, it can be a really complicated time where you're not sure what to do. Do I treat them differently? Do I not? What are they going to be doing when they get older? How do I support them? How do I help them? How do I speak to them? How do I do this? How do I do that? It can be a really, really tough situation and a tough subject to tackle. And I just want to give you some tips that not only that my mum did for myself, but also things that went through my mind, you know, when I finally started to learn about what autism is and how it's going to affect me later on in life, and how I actually came to accept that and digest the information, because I don't think I did for quite a long time. You know, I've always knew I had autism, but I never knew what is it, you know, how does it affect me? And I think growing up it's definitely made me go, oh, okay, you know, that's what affects me. Okay, that's how it is. So today guys, I just want to give you some tips that might help. So for parents, I would say the first tip is take a deep breath. And what I mean by that is, it's alright, you know, just take a deep breath and just analyse the situation, because I always feel like the more you panic about something, you make decisions that you normally wouldn't make in any ideal world. Take a breath, you know, and just relax and come to accept it yourself. Don't rush into anything, don't do anything too hastily, just think about it, take a deep breath. Don't be afraid to talk about it. So next I would say prepare for early intervention, because early intervention is really key. You know, as soon as you can get in there and teach them the skills and give them the support they need, it will benefit them in the long term. I know it did me, and that's things like speech therapy and social and behavioural therapy. I couldn't speak till I was 6, so you know, speech therapy and things like that, I remember doing toe by toe and it really helped. I had to learn Macintosh, that was a way for me to communicate, so now I never shut up. It really helps, you know, as early you can get in the better, because you have an idea of how you're going to support them and how you're going to help them and where they are as well, and what they need. Also, next tip would be understand that they know a different sort of sense. That's really heavily linked with sensory overload. Just because they go into a shop and the lights are too bright, or the noise is too much for you, it might not be, and for any other child it might not be, but for them that's their understanding of sense. And when they're getting angry or getting upset, that's not them being difficult, that's just them trying to communicate to you that I can't deal with this, I need to get out, and they don't quite know how to say it, and that is us saying it. I remember when I was little, my mum and dad told me all the time, I used to go into a shop, I used to roll on the floor, cry. That wasn't me being naughty, that wasn't me being bad, but that was me trying to communicate to them, I can't handle this. The next one links to what my mum's always said, and my mum's always said, your children normally grow up with you, but I've had to grow up with him. So the next tip is remember that your child won't change, but you can change for them. And I think, again, that's adapting yourself around them, you know, because there are going to be things that you're going to have to do to suit their needs. You know, I remember my mum told me a story, if they ever went out, they would need to let me know about 2 weeks before. If I didn't know, it was that sudden change, and it made me angry and it made me upset, and I didn't know how to cope with it. If they was just to say, oh, we're going out, they can now. Slowly over the years they've had to ease me into that, so it went from 2 weeks to 1 week to 4 days to 3 days to 2 days. I've now learned that pattern of behaviour, actually, now that I've grown up as well, that I can't get upset about those things, because that's life, you know. And again, early intervention is key. Adapt yourself around them. So it's about knowing your child and adapting what they need to help them. Another tip, don't panic. Again, it leads me to the first one, just don't panic. I like to think that everything will be alright, as long as you try your best as a parent, as a dad, as a mum. that's all the child could ever ask. Heck, that's all that I could ever ask. And as long as you do that, you know, and you show your child love and affection and support them, you know, just don't panic. Never think you've got it wrong. Never think that you're doing something that you shouldn't be or you should be, or, you know, just try your best, and that's all you can do. Another one is create a personalised treatment plan, and things that consist of that is like find your child's interest, you know, offer a predictable schedule. So just a time slot. My mum made me like a Velcro time slot in the morning, so I used to pull down the Velcro every time I'd done something, so brush my teeth, do my hair, get changed. There was a personalised schedule for me to help me get through the day. Teach tasks in a simple sequence of steps. So don't just go right down the corridor, to the right, to the left, go up. Do it gradually, because for me anyway, I find verbal instructions still to this day quite difficult. So if people go through it one by one, it helps me digest the information. And the last couple, I think they all kind of link together. Actively engage your child's in highly structured activities. Provide regular reinforcement of behaviour. Don't be afraid to say that you shouldn't be doing that, you should be doing this. At the end of the day, you know, for me it was important that I learnt right from wrong, even though I had a condition that might have not made me see that. My mum was always firm but fair with me. If something's wrong, despite I've got a condition, it's wrong, you shouldn't be doing it. She'd have to explain it, why it is it wrong, and that's probably made me more empathetic now. That's the process that had to be followed for me to learn and to understand. And the last one for teachers, all these tips go for teachers as well, but for teachers, always involve the parents. If you're not sure of anything, ask the parents. If you think this could help, ask the parents. Always involve the parents, because there's only one person in the world that is going to feel possibly exactly the same as their child with autism, and that's the parent. The parents go through it, they live through it. My mum's had to live through it, my dad's had to live through it, my family's had to live through it just as much as probably I have. And even though I'm the person going through it, they have always been the people that have heard about it or had to have picked up the pieces in bad situations. So always involve the parents. And the last one's, what are my child's strengths and weaknesses? What behaviour is causing the most problems? How does my child learn best? And more importantly, what does my child enjoy? Link a subject that they hate and link it with something that they love. You can really learn a lot. And the last one, I think if you're older and you've been diagnosed with autism, you know, whether you're in your teens or you're in your 50s or your 70s or early 20s, 30s, whatever age you are, the first thing I would say, and these are the tips that I would give to you, is accept it, embrace it. Know it might be a reason why you feel a certain way, why you can't socialise, why you feel uncomfortable in shops. Think that might be a reason why. You're still you. Try speaking with people with autism, and don't be afraid to talk about it. Tell people that you trust. It's really important. Don't feel that you ever have to tell people that you don't trust. Just tell the people that you feel you want to know and need to know. Try not to be down. Try and be happy. There's a lot of, don't get me wrong, there are lots of negatives with autism, and there's things that I go through every day and think that, wish that I could change. But then I always come down to the conclusion that if I didn't have these things, I wouldn't be who I am. I think they all contribute to a good part of me, and autism isn't me, but it is a big part of who I am, and I think the experiences that I've gone through because of it have probably made me a better person. And be happy about that. If you do feel upset or angry or frustrated, never feel ashamed to talk to therapy or anything like that. Sometimes you walk into those things and you think, oh, it's not going to help, and then you come out and go, my God, that really did help. And it's never a bad thing to talk about it. And do the things that you enjoy. And the last one, never ever feel that you are different or alone. I think a lot of people out there will surprise you and probably feel the same. And the more you talk about it and the more you meet other people with autism, you'll feel a lot better about it. But guys, teachers, parents, people with autism, people just diagnosed with autism, I hope this helped you in some way or another. And comment your question down below, something that you've are eager to know about or experiencing, and you want my feedback on it. But guys, thank you for watching, take care and goodbye for now.